This instructional video is about adding and subtracting integers. For example, 11 plus 8. Yeah, you know what that is. 11 plus 8, we know, is 19. But how about when we get to something like this? Negative 8 plus 2. This is where I suggest my students to think about money. Yeah, money is a nice way to visualize number system. Here, negative 8 refers to if you had negative 8 in your bank account. That actually means you owe the bank $8. So if you have a negative 8 balance in your bank, well, plus 2 would mean you make a deposit. You put the $2 in. So what's your bank balance now? It's going to be negative 6. You still owe the bank, but not as much as before. So another example, if you have something like, let's say, negative 14 plus 16. In this case, what this would mean is your bank balance is negative 14. You owe the bank $14. Plus means to make a deposit in your account. You put in $16. What's your bank balance now? You have a whopping $2 in your bank. But now that you see how that works, the negative and positive integers, they're quite easy to deal with. So sometimes, as I write the problem out, you could solve it. You could evaluate as you go. For example, if I said 39 minus 21 plus 12. In your head, you're saying, I have $39 in the bank. And if you take out $21, 39 minus 21, that becomes 18. And then when you put in the $12 back in the bank, you will end up with 30. See how that goes? But sometimes the book will confuse you. If you look at some textbooks, sometimes they use a parentheses. For example, if they say 39 plus, in parentheses, negative 21 plus 12. Well, what on earth does that mean? You could think of one or two ways. You could either say, hey, somewhere along the line somebody told me if you have a plus and minus together side by side, and positive and negative, if you multiply them, becomes negative, that's another way to look at it. And hence, it's the same problem as over here. $39, take out $21 from the bank, you end up with $18. But you make a deposit again of 12, your bank balance is back to 30. Another way to look at it is you have $39 in the bank. You were about to make a deposit, but you changed your mind and took it out instead. So you end up with 18. But then you go back next day and put in $12 back in the bank, you end up with a 30. So when adding and subtracting integers, I am suggesting to the student to think about money. Okay? Putting it in, taking it out. Putting it in, taking it out. So let's say we try this one, example. So let's say negative 36 plus 49 plus negative 2, change the mind, plus 15. What would the sum be? Find the sum. What would you do? Okay. So here's what you said. If you went away, if you follow the order of operation, because there are minus and plus all along, you just went left to right rule. Left to right rule. What you would have said was, you owe the bank $36. You owe the bank, but you make a deposit of 49. 49 minus 36 gives you, in fact, 13 plus negative 2 plus the 15. Now you have $13 in a bank, you were going to make more deposit, but you changed your mind. You took it out instead. So your balance is now 11 plus the 15. And finally, you have 11 in a balance and you make a deposit the next day of $15. Your final answer should be 26. If you could do that, you are in good shape and you're ready to tackle algebra, dealing with equations. Let's try one more just to be sure, shall we? Here's number 2 for you. I'll make it a little more challenging, okay? Suppose we have 19 plus negative 39 plus negative 51 plus 25. You could pause the video to try it and come back, okay? I'll wait. Good. Now, I'm sure you got the right answer, but let me show you another alternative. When we get to algebra, you're going to start talking about a thing called combined like terms. And what that means is, when you see negatives, you add those together first. And if you see positives, combine those as well. They're the like terms. So let's do the positives since they come up on the first on the series. We have 19. That's a positive 19. Plus 19. That's also a plus. So that's a 25. That's a positive. So when you add 19 and 25 together, it becomes 44. Now here's a minus and here's a minus. Here's a negative, negative. This is the one where we take the money out. How much did we take out total together? Well, 39 and 51, it should be 90. So plus negative 90. So here's 44. When we go back to the taking the money out story, we're going to put the money in, but we changed our mind and took out $90. Holy moly. You actually end up with and 46. Since the bigger number was a negative, your bank balance will be negative 46. Not a good thing. But for you as a math student, that's a good answer.